And you make the point too about like the genocides that have been committed and things. You can have kind of like an evolutionary thinking, well, yeah, these people don't count, they're weak, so we need to make room for the powerful, the strong.
The chilling fact is that every genocide that has ever occurred was always justified. I mean, if you look at what happened in Rwanda in the 1990s, you know, the people who were committing these atrocities were on the radio saying, no, it's not bad to kill your neighbors. You have to kill your neighbors because they're doing all sorts of bad things for society. So, you know, really, you're doing the world a favor. And these people are subhuman anyway. They don't even know what life is, you know, worth living. And when you study the history of the great tragedies of humanity, you see that every single time there was a very eloquent justification for why this was necessary.
Right. And if you look at the history of the 20th century, you have these dictatorships, you know, the communism, you know, in China, or the Nazism in Germany. Some people don't realize this, but you know, the Nazism did want to pursue this godless world, right? They were trying to go back to some pagan notions, and who spilt more blood?
Right.
It's like these atheistic governments of, you know, Mao and then Russia and Germany, and killed all these people. But you make a great point on your blog too about you had these pictures of some of the Nazis at Auschwitz, and you had this great line. It's like one of these things I never thought of. He said, you know, we think in our own hearts that I would never do this. Or there's something stopping me because I'm a good person from doing this.
Yeah.
And the line I liked, it said, there's no ontological difference between me and some of these people that committed terrible atrocities. Ontological meaning essential difference, you know, on the level of being. No, that's possible. Yeah. I can do that without grace. You know, I can go that way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and what started that post was, what happened was I was reading something about Auschwitz, you know, obviously one of the worst atrocities in humanity. And I saw this picture of some people who were just having a good time, having a party. I realized later it was an on-site retreat at Auschwitz. And these people looked just like me. I mean, they looked like people I would know. And I realized at that moment, you know, I always thought I'm a good person. I'm not one of the bad people, so I would never do that. But I saw how much fun these people were having. They were just genuinely, you know, hanging out. And I realized they told themselves a story. They told themselves a story about why this was okay, and any one of us could do that.
Yeah, that's interesting when you see even some of the old documentaries of the SS officers who would be at the camps during the day, organizing the slaughter and the gas chambers or the crematoriums, and then they would go home at night, and there were home videos of them playing with their kids in the front yard or sitting down for dinner. And you're absolutely right. You look at that and think, as soon as they take the uniform off and put on regular street clothes, they look just like me.
Yeah.
They're playing with the kids like I play with my kids. But earlier in the day, they were lining up, you know, hundreds and thousands to be slaughtered, to be brutally murdered with just no thought whatsoever. Women, children. It's staggering to consider this.
Yeah, and it's a chilling moment when because I think we protect ourselves in a way by saying, well, I would never do that. I don't need to worry about that because that could never be me. But you know, when you look at what happened in Germany and Eastern Europe in World War II, millions upon millions of people bought into this, if not actively engaging in it, looking the other way. And it's this chilling moment when you realize, am I so sure I wouldn't have been one of the people who would have just looked the other way and let it happen?
But isn't that happening somewhat now in our country here when it comes to politicians who are pro-abortion and you know, pro-gay marriage and so forth, anti-family stuff, and a lot of us kind of look the other way when it comes to voting, even though really, if we really think about it, we know that we're helping to put into power people who are going to be, you know, involved in the destruction of our faith and of many hearts and souls and lives. But we kind of justify, rationalize the economy or this or that or the other thing. Is that similar in some way? Not as grave maybe as an actual genocide, but isn't there some aspect of it that's similar?
There is a genocide going on.
Well, the genocide,
with abortion.
obviously abortion, absolutely yes.
And I think I firmly believe that 50 years from now, our grandchildren are going to look back and say, what did you do? You know, as ultrasound technology just gets more and more widespread, and more powerful, we will be judged, I think, by what each of us individually did to combat abortion. Because one interesting thing is, if you study all of these genocides that have taken place throughout history, one thing that every single one of them have in common, 10 times out of 10, is that they said that the people who were being slaughtered were subhuman.
Right.
And one way you can kind of know if you're ever in a situation where you might be looking the other way in an atrocity is if there is a large group of human beings around you that is being categorized as subhuman. Anyone see that happening with fetuses?
Absolutely.
I think it's really chilling.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're back with Jennifer Fulweiler, so don't go away. We'll be back in a minute.